Hey y'all, welcome back to Spellbound. It's me, BEEJ, and I've got my January TBR, the first TBR of 2025. And what a year it's been, right? Like, how was your year? How was your 2024? Because mine was incredible. So I mentioned around this time last year actually about my 2023, and I kind of talked about how awful it was, and I talked about how I got really sick. I spent most of 2023 in bed actually, have a chronic illness, and it like got way out of control, started targeting a whole bunch of organs, and it was just a really bad year. And if 2023 was the worst year of my life, and it was completely unironically, 2024 was probably the best year of my life because I had one hell of a comeback, you guys. At the end of like spring-ish, I was put on a new medication, finally, that targeted all the inflammation, got all the inflammation out of my body, which means not only did I have my body back and I didn't have to be in bed all the time, but I also got my brain back. And that feels awesome. Towards the end of the summer, I started working again, and I am actually show writing with Disney again, which I love. I just love what I do. I love working in such a creative department and being surrounded by so many talented people and getting to learn from those talented people. I'm just having such a good time, which like, duh, but also like you always want to like what you do, you know? And so like even here right now, knowing that I wouldn't trade this feeling for the world, like this is the best I've ever felt. I still have a chronic illness and things might change, you know? And so knowing that, I think the biggest takeaway for me is that I'm never ever going to take my health for granted, and every time that I ever feel this good, I'm going to literally do everything I can to like the fullest. And I'm just excited about it. You know, what does the future hold? I don't know. But I do know that I set goals because I am that type A person. One is to finish co-writing the book that I've been writing with my book bestie. That's kind of exciting. Another one is to read 150 books. I have more specific like little bookish goals in there, but like overall my reading goal is 150. And also, you know, to do my part to dismantle the capitalist white supremacist patriarchy. But what else is new? But for today, and for here and this video, I'm going to be focusing on that second one, reading 150 books, because that starts with a TBR and that starts with this TBR. So this is my January TBR. Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. So I have read this one before. This is a reread for me. It was actually my best and favorite book of 2022. No, I misspoke. It was my second favorite book of 2022. It lost to Little Thieves by Margaret Owen by like a hair, honestly. This book's incredible. So anyways, I've read it before, but this is a reread because I'm co-reading it, I'm buddy reading it, whatever, with my book bestie. I'm so excited for her to experience like the grit of Ketterdom and this story, and then also just the incredible writing talent of Leigh Bardugo. So she hasn't read anything by Leigh Bardugo yet, and I'm just excited. I'm excited for her. I'm excited for me. We're in for a treat. This is a YA fantasy that I personally think should be an adult fantasy. I think it both should be categorized that way, but I also think it should be, or could have been, easily tweaked like slightly to be more of an adult fantasy, because like this is such a gritty story. I don't think that it serves anything to be a YA, to be honest. I don't think there's a whole lot of coming of age in here that really needs a lot of focus. Anyway, I have said 3 words and I've already gone on a tangent. That's how much I love this book. I could talk about it all day. Let's. In fact, no, we have a few books to get through. I'll get there. I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to be alive today. Okay, so this is a YA fantasy story. Yeah, a YA fantasy. And it's about an epic heist into an extremely remote Arctic, heavily guarded prison that like no one gets in or out of. The leader of this group to pull off the heist is this member slash kind of like leader of this local street gang that he has worked years building it up and making very strategic investments in order to make his gang sort of like it's the second most legit street gang in what is called the Barrel. So they live in this city called Ketterdam, which is very like grungy Victorian London feeling. It's got like rough city vibes, you know? But the Barrel is what you call the rough end of those streets, like the dark alleys, like this is where your brothels are and your casinos and or gambling dens, things like that. And so that's called the Barrel. The main character, Kaz Brecker, he pulls together 5 other really desperate folk from the Barrel, and they go and pull off this heist. And then the story is told through 6 different POVs, which sounds ambitious, but like Leigh Bardugo is amazing, and she just pulls it off perfectly. This book is incredible. Like, objectively, it's incredible. But the duology, Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, that's where it's at, right? The way that these books work together, the way that these books like tell a story, and you're like, yes, BEEJ, that's how duology works. Okay, but it's not entirely like one narrative split down the middle. And that's what I like about it. So Six of Crows tells the story of the plot of the heist, right? And while it's not like every single I is not dotted and T is not crossed at the end of the book, it doesn't just like leave you hanging on like some major cliffhanger. There's still some like consequences and fallout from the heist plot, but the main point of the plot is wrapped, I think, really well in the first book. But that's not the only reason why you're there, you know? Because this story is told through 6 different POVs, and they're all unique, they're all amazing, they're all so compelling and so different, these characters. And their struggle is so weirdly the same, like really deep down at the core. And it's so good. It's so good. I don't know a single person who has read Six of Crows that doesn't love it, to be honest. I love this. I have to move on or I will literally run out of battery just talking about a book that I've already read. But first, Marjorie, if you are watching this, please pause and go read Six of Crows right now. But go. Go read it. The Sisters of the Winterwood by Rena Rossner. Now, you may or you may not know that I prefer to go into books mostly blind. Yes, I will read the like Goodreads description or the dust flap or back of the book. Like, yes, I'm gonna read that. I'm not just cover buying everything that I own. A good bit of them are cover buys. Can't lie, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm a sucker for a pretty cover, sue me. But I also have a bad memory, these days anyway. And so I forget what I have read about them. Most of the books on my shelf that I have not read, I know that I wanted to read at some point, and so I usually won't like revisit what this book was about before I go into it. And I'm very comfortable with that. I don't want a lot of expectation. All that being said, I will not have the full proper synopsis for any of these books on this list. I only have what little I know / remember about these books from when I first picked them up. And mostly, honestly, the vibes that I think I'm going to get based on what I remember about the book, which can and often is entirely incorrect. And for this TBR, I don't hate that because I am looking for wintry vibes. That's what I want all of these books to have in common. It's January. It's weirdly cold. We have lived in this house. I've lived in this house for like 8 years. My husband's lived in this house for like 8 years longer. And we've never lit a fire in the fireplace. I don't know why. I do also think that that's criminal. But also, we live in Orlando. So like, what need have we for a fire? None. However, it's so much fun. And I've been doing that. So now I'm like a fire goblin, and I've been lighting fires. There's a point to this, I'm sure of it. Oh yeah, winter vibes. That's my point. All of these books have winter vibes. That's mostly what I'm trying to communicate. The synopses might be slightly incorrect, but I'm doing my best. So, Sisters of the Winterwood. From what I understand, this is a Yiddish retelling of the Goblin Market. I'm fascinated by the concept of the Goblin Market. I'm fascinated by the original like fairy tale poem, but like a wintry version and a Yiddish winter version, I'm interested. I love books that are full of fairy tales and folklore. Like, I love it. And I didn't realize that there was Yiddish mythology, and maybe there's not. Maybe it's just a Yiddish retelling. So like there's, I think, like Yiddish elements. And then there is also cultural mythology. But I don't know because I haven't read it, and I haven't read the synopsis in months. It sounds like it could be similar to Catherine Arden's The Bear and the Nightingale. And so if it uses mythology in that way and weaves it through that way, I'm in. I'm invested. I also think at one point someone actually turns into a bear in this story. I don't know. Omen of Ice by Jess Accardo. I think that's how you say your name. So this book is definitely an example of cover by. 100%. Yeah, this had to have been a cover by. Even though I think that the cover's been redesigned since this point, this is definitely a cover by because there's no way I would have read the synopsis of this book and would have been like, yep, that's the one. And get in my cart. No, I definitely didn't read anything about this. I was just like, ooh, winter fantasy. So this is another good example of how and why I'm becoming much more discerning in my book purchasing. The most that I can gather about this book is that it is a fae romance story in which like there's the human kingdom and the fae kingdom, like bond between lands, etc., etc. And this main character, she's a druid and she's been training her whole life to be a bodyguard, yada yada. And so she's finally selected to be the bodyguard for none other than the Prince of the Winter Fae, who saw that coming. And then she goes and she gets there, and then wouldn't you know it, he's a curmudgeon and he just doesn't want her there. So that's literally the whole plot. That's just not my opinion because I did actually read the plot synopsis for it, and that is all that's in the plot synopsis. There's not even like a neat coup going on. I'm sure that there will be like a thin, reason that he needs protection. I actually read it and I'm like 25% of the way through this book, and no joke that this is in fact the entirety of the plot. The entirety of the plot is her being like, but I trained my whole life for this, and him being like, but I don't want you here anyway. Like, that's the whole point of the book. It's so dumb. It's not even wintry. We got like a paragraph describing winter scenery that had like trees with rare berries, and that's it. That's all winter we got. So what's the point of him being a winter fae? We have yet to see. Nothing has happened that is winter yet. Again, 25% of the way through this book. The writing is exactly what you would expect from this type of book. The writing is so mid. It's not even bad enough to hate. It's just telling a story that's entirely derivative and doing it poorly. So I'm not having a good time with this book. This book is currently on my winter shelf, which is right behind me, full of like icy wintry books. But I have no doubts that as soon as I finish it, it will be going on my Pango shelf to be sold. Echo North by Joanna Ruth Meyer. Here's what I remember thinking that it was going to be about. Here's what I think I remember about what this plot might be about. Okay, so Echo, main character. Her dad goes missing for a while, and then she rediscovers him maybe like 6 months later, either like entirely frozen or almost frozen, like trapped in the ice or something, frozen in ice, I don't know. But he's being guarded by a wolf, and specifically the same wolf that tried to like attack her when she was young. She makes a deal with the wolf, and the wolf is like, I'll free your dad if you live with me for a year. So already I'm like, okay, it's giving Beauty and the Beast retelling. Maybe it's not, but so far that's the vibe I'm getting. And then like over the course of the year, there's like these deep secrets she has to uncover. She discovers a library full of secrets, yada yada. It really is giving those Beauty and the Beast vibes, but more than that, there's also like mirrors, and there's a guy, I think his name is Hal, and he's trapped in one of the mirrors. And so that's one of my favorite microtrends, is when like a character is trapped inside a painting, a mirror, like some sort of portal that they're on the other side of. I love it. I eat that junk up. Double Toil and Trouble was where that like originated for me, and I've never been able to recover. I love it. I seek it out. So anyways, in order to free Hal, she has to figure out like this curse that has to deal with the wolf and whatever. So literally just from the synopsis, I'm pretty sure that I already know what the plot twist is going to be. So I don't expect this to tell me anything new, but I am still a sucker for an icy fairy tale retelling, which is what I hope this is. And it's got to be better than Omen of Ice, The Raven and the Reindeer by T. Kingfisher. So all I know about this one is that it is a, quote, for older readers retelling of The Snow Queen by Hans Christian Andersen. And honestly, that's all I want to know about it. That's it. I love The Snow Queen. I love fairy tales in general, okay? I love Frozen. I love Elsa. Elsa is my favorite Disney princess of all time, even though she is technically a queen, and I'm very aware of it. I love Frozen. I love Elsa. I love The Snow Queen as a story. I love The Snow Queen as a character. And also, and I can't stress this enough, I love wintry fairy tale retellings. Like, the icier and the colder, the better, And so I'm just really looking forward to this. And I think I mentioned it's by T. Kingfisher. So like, can she do any wrong, Not that I know of. So looking forward to it. The Winter Garden by Alexandra Bell. So this book is so mysterious. Is it mysterious in a good way? Mysterious in a bad way? I don't know, because this book is so mysterious. And by mysterious, let's be clear, I mean vague, because I can't find a single description of this plot anywhere. Like I can't, every description of this book has been describing the Winter Garden, right? Which sounds kind of like night circusy, but make it winter, you know, like it's like kind of a circusy, like magical liminal garden. It comes and it goes and it's like between time. Cool. But literally I can't find anyone to tell me what this book is about. And weirdly, that has me intrigued. Now, I understand I make like this can be one of those like teachable moments, you know, where I've just got to like have natural consequences here. And I might be very, very, very disappointed. I don't know. But the fact that this book is over 500 pages and nobody, not anybody anywhere can tell me what it's about, I'm like, I've got to know. I've got to see what is so intriguing about this weird liminal place that takes up 500 pages and nobody can tell me who goes there. Mysterious, intriguing, 515 pages, could be 515 pages of a mistake. Even the Darkest Stars by Heather Fawcett. Okay, so I'm going to say several things. And to be honest, few of them are about this book because I don't really know what this book is about. Okay, but just go with me here. So the first thing I'm going to say is that I've seen several people who've talked about this book say that they really liked reading it, but that they didn't necessarily love it and that it wasn't necessarily a favorite. And that is a weird, hyper-specific kind of endorsement for me, which is going to make sense when I say my other things. So my favorite book from this series, which shall not be named, is book 7. And my favorite movie is 7 Part 1 because I love a camping montage. I love a camping scene. I love all the camping scenes. I love it. Some of my best friends call it like HP and the Eternal Camping Trip. And the thing is, that's an endorsement for me. I'm like, sign me the up, you know? I love it. I love the journey. And I love the journey feeling monotonous and like never ending and it feeling liminal. I like watching them try to survive while they're on their quest. You know, like not every moment are these like action-oriented places where the story unfolds and where the mystery gets deeper or where they fight and battle like and it's full of action. No, a lot of the journey of the hero's journey are the places in between and the places where there's just little X's on the map. I want that. I want more of that in general. Which is interesting because I also love violence and like I can't read a book without violence, a fantasy book without violence. I love a camping scene, okay? And the only thing that I think I know about this book is that this book I think is mostly that, but on a cold mountain. So I don't know who is climbing this big scary mountain in wintertime. I don't know why, for what purpose, or any other elements to this story. I don't know a single thing about this world or plot or character, and I don't care. All I know, or what I think I know about this book, is that this girl has to climb this mountain at winter time and survive. And I'm like, sign me up. That's it. And the thing is, people who may not have loved this book did like it, which means that there was enough of other things that they liked the book anyway, and they liked the reading experience of reading it, which means that even the camping stuff did not read as boring to them. I just think that I'm going to really like this book. I think it's going to be the Eternal Camping Trip at wintertime, and like, cool. So if you notice the theme, like I said, everything on my January TBR is an icy, wintry fantasy. All of these, I think, would feel just right reading under like a cozy knit blanket by the fireplace, which, like I said, I will be doing in my second ever attempt at a reading vlog over the next 2 weeks. So yeah, I'm going to try and get through as many of these. It's not like a super intimidating TBR, I don't think. It's just like a handful of like wintry fantasies. Like I said, I don't know. I'm kind of nervous about the vlogging, to be honest. I don't really know why I am. It's just like, I think it's because it's less formal. So like I always, when I'm sitting in the chair and I feel put together and I feel like I have my thoughts together, I always like write my thoughts beforehand, even though I go very far left every time. But like a vlog is so like you just sit down and then you talk, and like I don't know if that's compelling, you know. I kind of feel like most of the time I should have my thoughts together before they reach an audience, you know, like maybe. Anyway, that's worth journaling about or discussing in therapy. There's also more videos coming because it's January and I've got all that January energy. So thank you for joining me for this TBR. What do you think about the books that I talked about? Do you like winter fantasies like I do, or do they feel the same to you? Like, do you try and like save all your winter fantasies up to read during winter time, or do you just like you read them whenever and it doesn't matter? You know, I don't know. Well, I don't know because I asked you that question, but I don't know what I would think most people would do. I don't know if most people would read them in winter like I would or not. Anyway, let me know. What are you reading in January? Did you set any reading goals? You know, what are they? Like, what was your favorite book of 2024 is a good question. Or, you know, what are you reading right now? What are you excited about right now? In general, in life, what are you excited about? That's a really good question. And I feel like that's a better like icebreaker question. And what I'm very excited about are all of the videos that I have coming up on this channel because I've been reading, I've been doing, and I've got energy now and there's just stuff coming. And I'm excited to engage with you guys again. So that's it for me. Thank God for this video. Anyway, stay safe, happy new year, and happy reading.